everyone, today I'm going to use DVOK's Once in a Summer collection to do a freestyle nail art design. I've already prepped my nails in advance and added some round gel extensions. To start, I'm going to use the Iris color. It is a blue purplish cat eye magnetic gel. One coat of this polish is quite sheer. Remember to use the magnet which is included in the set to create the cat eye effect. I'm only applying this to the tip of my nail. I'm basically creating a seashell look. Next, I'm using Tangerine, which is an orangey cat eye polish as well, and I'm going to put that in the middle. I found that the orangey and the bluish color from Iris comes together to look kind of like a realistic clamshell. Here I'm just using a liner brush to lightly blend out the color. So today's design is a complete freestyle. I have not planned out any of these nails, and I've restricted myself to only really using polishes from the DVOK Once in a Summer collection, and I really have no idea how it will turn out. I really love the cat eye effect of the tangerine color though. Cure the gel in between each step so that the cat eye effect stays put. Now I'm using Ireland, which is the third cat eye polish in the collection, and I'm just going to fill up the top portion of the nail with it. Repeat the same steps as the other two polishes, and now I'm actually going to jump ahead and I'm painting Sun Flash glitter on my thumbnail. Today's video will be a bit jumpy going from nail to nail because I want to show you guys how I come up with a freestyle design. Sometimes I'll finish one nail first and sometimes I'll work on multiple at the same time. And I'll adjust the set and see how colors look well together as I go. I want my thumb to match my ring finger, so I picked some ocean colors, August Ocean and August Blue, and I'm going to do an ombre effect. Because both of these polishes are syrup gels, they're also sheer in color and easy to blend into each other. I find that the shade of this blue is really unique, kind of like denim-like looking, and I'm using a liner brush to apply it near my cuticle area so that I don't make a mess. The difficult part about doing a freestyle design is that once you cure your gel, you can't really make a lot of changes to it or very big changes. Giving yourself more constraints to work with will also make it more difficult. This collection is very diverse, which makes it a bit harder to match things well together. There's cool tones, there's bold tones and bright ones, and there's also glitter. If I separated the cool tones and the warm tones and created the set focused on an ocean theme with mostly blues and greens, it would be much easier. I also didn't want any part of the nail white to show, and so I'm using a bit of art liquid to cover the bottom and make it look like waves. And then I'm going back in on top to add some more glitter. This gives it a little bit of dimension, having some glitter underneath and some on top. At this point, I was not very happy with the thumbnail design. I felt like using August Blue only at the cuticle area of my thumb made it kind of look like it was bruised. And don't get me wrong, I love the color of that blue, it just didn't work very well in that particular spot. And of course, I like to make things difficult for myself, so I decided to add in all the bold and brighter colors in this design. Here I am applying a second coat of June Green. It is quite sheer as well, and this color combined with August Ocean would make a really beautiful jade design. It's actually like the perfect colors. Next up is July Apricot. I actually don't think I have any syrup gels that look anything like this shade. It's such a pretty orange. And I will also need to apply at least 2 coats of this gel to cover most of my nail. Our last syrup gel in the collection is May Red, and this one is a really bright red. One coat of this syrup gel definitely gives more coverage than the other two. This is the boldest color in the collection, and it's really making my pinky stand out. I originally wanted to do a design on longer nails so that I could add in some clear white space because I was a bit worried about the bold colors and how much attention it would draw. But because I wanted to grow out my natural nails, I didn't want to trim away the white part in order to create that transparent space. I also couldn't do gel extensions for a long nail design because I have volleyball later in the week. And so I'm ending up with these shorter nails that are full coverage. And so you can imagine now, the more restrictions that you have, the harder it'll be to do a nice freestyle design. Alright, now that all the base colors are done, we're going to add some more design to each of the nails. For this green nail, I was inspired by DVOK's box. The base of it has this green leafy design. I felt that it was very summery and I really liked it, and so I'm painting some leaves here. I mixed my green D-gel full painting gel along with the black to create a dark green because I want this to be like the shadow. I hated how it looked like the branches were coming out from the bottom, so I got rid of it. And I realized I wanted a more like looking through the leaves effect, as if you're standing under a tree and looking up. So this time around, I'm using a liner brush to draw leaves all over the nail. And I'm basically kind of randomly just painting some diamond-ish shapes. I've actually never done a design like this before, so I truly am just freestyling and not even looking at a reference photo. I feel like painting this way makes things a bit more difficult sometimes, but it's also a really good practice. And I think it's such a valuable talent to be able to paint something completely out of your mind without really looking anything up. Obviously, when you do character art, you're probably going to want to use a reference photo of the character. But even things like this, like leaves or clouds, looking up a realistic photo as reference could be helpful in figuring out what kind of shapes they look like. Here I'm trying to paint a shape as if a leaf is kind of drooping over. This is a shape that I am sadly familiar with because I only have one plant at home and I'm not very good at taking care of her. And so I'm quite used to seeing droopy leaves. I'm gonna fast forward and go through all of the different leaf shapes. Next, I'm going to use a thinner brush to just refine the shape. I'm gonna start from the centers and just pull out the ends. And for some of the leaves, I'm gonna start connecting them together as if there are branches. And remember that you're under a tree and looking upwards, and so the branches will be coming from all kinds of direction. Make sure you're not connecting all of the leaves to a single branch. I think that this was actually one of my favorite parts of painting this design. And this method of painting leaves is not one that I've ever tried before. I definitely feel like I would do this design again, but maybe with flowers as well, or different types of greenery. Okay, and here are how the nails look so far. The only nail I'm done with is the thumb. And now I'm going to work on my index finger. For this nail, I really wanted to use the color red because I feel like having it just on the pinky was too much. And I felt like I wanted to balance it out, and so I decided to paint some cherries on my index finger. I needed to swap colors, so I wanted to show you guys the nail brush cleaner that I use. It's made by Izemi. The cleaner easily pushes out all the gel from the middle of the bristles. This was actually such a huge game changer for me when I finally discovered it. Before this, I used to use rubbing alcohol to wipe down my brushes, but there would always be some gel trapped in the center, and sometimes it would contaminate your NYX color. So before I finished the cherries, I decided that I needed to do something about the pinky nail. I wanted to use a yellow color because I felt like it kind of matched the rest of the nails. And here I am trying multiple attempts to paint different kinds of flowers on my pinky. Most of these did not work out well. This is my third try, and this is my fourth try. For whatever reason, sometimes it just does not work. And this was my fifth try with a different brush. And this here right now, I like the idea of the fallen petals, but then the way I painted it is a bit too abstract and doesn't match the rest of my nails. And so I wipe it away again. And then I'm taking my liner brush to paint the flowers again, but more precisely. And honestly, at this point, I already kind of knew that this design was just not really it for me. It wasn't really coming together, but I still wanted to pull through and just see what happens. So now I'm jumping back to my index finger to paint in all of the cherry stems. And here I'm using the same dark green that I did for the leaves. And I'm curious to know if any of you guys ever do nails this way, where you're kind of working on different nails and different parts of the design at a time and kind of going back and forth. I don't always do all of my freestyle designs like this, and a lot of times I have a more clear vision, or I'll sit and stare at the nails for a much longer time before I actually paint something. Anyways, now that I have a theme going on for each nail, I'm going back to each one to add in final touches and details. I'm testing out adding some white and lighter green for the leaves to really give it some more dimension. And then now I decided that I wanted more color on this green nail. I want to add in some actual tangerines, so I'm using a painting gel white to draw some circles first. And this will basically make it easier for the orange color to show through, as I'm going to use the July Apricot Syrup Gel and also the Cat Eye Tangerine shade. And right now they kind of look like little eggs, which is kind of cute. See, if I planned this nail ahead of time, I would have painted those orange circles way sooner. But now because I'm adding layers of extra gel, they are turning out to be pretty 3D oranges. Now that the oranges are done, I'm going back through with my dark green to have some of the leaves covering the oranges, just to make it look more like it's in the bush and not sticking up on top. And now it's time to take out my crazy top gel to do the seashell design. I'm picking up a large drop of the overlay gel and then just drawing a line from the end towards the center. You want it to be thicker at the end, so that's why I start by placing the big droplet there and then just pulling it in. If you find that your overlay gel thins out pretty quick, you can cure these as you go. I really love how the 3D effect looks with the cat eye gel underneath. And finally, I decided that the pinky nail was still missing something, and I'm taking a thin liner brush and I'm just gonna add some little swirls and vines. For whatever reason, I feel like this makes it match the index and middle finger a bit more. And that is basically it for my design. I'm now covering all of my nails with top coat. Now that we're done, what is the verdict on this design? I would love for you guys to give me your honest opinions in the comments. My verdict is that I love the collection, I love the colors and each of these designs individually, but altogether, this design of mine, I hate it. I think that I would have been a bit more successful if I stuck to the different groups of colors that matched more, or if I spent a bit more time planning out the whole design. Sometimes freestyle designs just don't work out well, and this was one of the examples. I really love how these three nails kind of look together, the bolder colors, and then of course the two oceany nails can always come together easily as a nice design. Here's my other hand, they look so pretty as solid colors as well. I hope you enjoyed watching my chaotic freestyle process, and thank you for watching. I will see you guys next time.